Okay. Put on edge. Right. Are we good to go?
Yeah, we're good to go. So
yeah.
Take it away.
Can I request you guys to come closer so I can actually, I mean, or maybe in the first 2 rows, or maybe these chairs. That'd be cool.
Or you could just bring chairs.
Yeah, like you can definitely come closer. No mics here, so we can keep it easy. Is that my jacket over there? Oops. I'll empty this. Someone can sit here too, so. Awesome. So yeah, I'm so excited to meet you guys. I'm Shruti Ramani, for those who don't know me, and I'm sure none of you do, because we haven't met before. But yeah, I am a singer. I play a couple of other instruments, but I love to compose, write my own music. And tell you a little bit about my background is I come from India, so I moved here 4 years ago to study jazz music at Capilano University, and I graduated. My ceremony was yesterday, so I'm done. Yeah, thank you, right? Yeah, it was a long haul. So, yeah, so it's my 4th year, I guess 5th year of being in Canada, and I've had the privilege to assimilate 2 different cultures and 2 different styles of singing and approaches to singing, and they're quite similar actually in a lot of ways. So I guess what I have for you this workshop is it is called the art of the riff. So a riff is, you know what riffing is, I guess, a guitar riff or something that you find cool, that sticks out. And I guess our goal here is, or my tools kind of borrows from these 2 different traditions that I studied, that kind of enhances my ability to use my voice. So I use tips and tricks from both these traditions. So I guess what I have to offer to you is some of the Indian classical elements of training your voice, right? And I don't know if you guys have heard any Indian classical music, but if you haven't, the vocalists are inhumane. Like in some ways they have ultimate voice control. Something I still work on every day of my life, right? And the equivalent of that is, if you've ever heard a run that you want to do and it seems really complicated, right? You're like, oh, that's a lot of notes, it's so compressed, it's so fast. How do I make my voice do this? So yeah, I guess I'm gonna share with you guys what I learned from my guru, my Indian classical guru, in a way that maybe is approachable to you guys, and we'll see how it goes. And hopefully we can sing together in this process. And yeah, I would love to get to know you guys. So I'll tell a little bit about myself. You guys want to introduce yourself? Maybe from this end? You want to? Yeah, sure.
I'm Michael, and I moved here last year.
Nice. Okay. So you're new too. Okay. Yeah. How are you liking it here?
Yeah, it's so good, and I'm going to high school now. And
Nice.
I also study singing, and I love singing.
That's amazing. Me too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to go to the music university, so like.
Oh, nice.
I want to go to learning.
Oh, wow. You want to do like jazz music and studies, or?
I want to study musical theater.
Cool. I mean, if you have any questions, Natalia can give you my contact info. So if you ever have any questions about applying to university, or the process, or how it feels to be in university and music school, just hit me up, you know. We can talk, and yeah. Well, that's really awesome. What about you?
My name is Maggie. We're sisters
Oh.
from Philippines, and yeah, I've been singing for a really long time, since like I was a little kid.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really nice. And what kind of music do you like to sing or listen to?
Well, I like musical theater too.
Oh, theater. That's awesome. Yeah, that's really cool. I love that. Yeah, and you,
My name's Hannah,
Hannah.
and I don't know what to say, but maybe in grade 10 I did like a musical theater course in high
Nice.
school. So
Yeah,
it's
and
kinda
you
fun.
liked it?
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I guess this workshop is also for like, people at different levels. I feel like I've kind of designed this in a way that you can take the same exercises to the end of your life and still keep doing them. And so yeah, people from all walks of life are welcome here right now. So that's really amazing. I love musical theater myself. So yeah, that's. Well.
Hey, my name is Anushka. Well, I've been here all my life, but yeah, and I've been doing singing for like a few years now, and I do enjoy it.
Oh, okay, that's awesome. Yeah, what kind of music do you listen to?
Well, usually like pop, and I've also listened to like Indian music like pop.
Ooh, okay, yeah, that's a good hybrid, right? Yeah, a good thing to listen to. What about you?
Hi, my name is Caitlin, and I'm listening to music. I want to say clear. I'm finishing grade.
Oh, okay, that's awesome. That's really awesome. And yeah, what kind of music do you like to sing and listen to?
Pop music.
Pop? Yeah, that's cool. And yeah, and you?
Yeah, I'm Victoriana, and
Sorry, say that again?
Victoriana.
Victoriana?
Yeah.
Oh, that's even cooler than Victoria.
Yeah.
Yeah, gotta say.
I've been here in Canada for 10 years. I'm from Greece, and I have a lot of influences from Greek music in my singing,
Amazing.
as well as metal and rock.
Ooh.
I also love musical theater, and like if I could change my life completely and be a musician and study music, I would probably be like symphonic metal singer.
Wow,
Like
that's a
operatic.
niche and a half.
That would
That's
be
really
awesome.
awesome. Yeah, I love that. That's so cool. I guess I have a thing or two to learn about symphonic metal music.
It's awesome.
I really, I'm gonna go home and like obsessively listen to all of this.
Because it has so many classical elements and it's so
Yeah.
structured.
Right, that's
Right.
pretty cool. It's really good
You release
hybrid.
your emotions with the metal part.
Yeah, metal is such a way to release everything inside of you. I love that about metal. And I do love fusion music. Like I said, I have two very varying backgrounds, and when like two different genres come together, sometimes it's the most beautiful thing. So, yeah, let's start off like open-ended. When you listen to someone sing, what do you think makes them a good singer? Why do you like their voice, for example? Or what about it makes you think, oh, this person is actually a really good singer? Like, anyone have ideas about this? I can start with one. I like the most obvious one, being in key or be singing in tune, being in pitch, right? And if someone sings off tune, it sticks out. Even to the non-musical people, they're like, oh, this is bad, right? So, but acknowledging that different cultures have different tuning systems, right? So what sounds like off tune to say a Westerner's ear may not sound off tune to someone from other parts of the world where they have different tuning systems. So being in tune is really a construct, but for today's purposes and all the music that we're listening to and we like to indulge in, being in tune can be a criteria because we have 12 notes in an octave. We work with 12 notes and we try to categorize or blend or tune our voices to those 12 notes, right? So yeah, maybe good pitch I came up with. Do you guys have any other ideas about this? Yes?
Personally, for me, it's more about the emotion,
Mhm.
the inflections.
Right, yeah.
Sometimes I just don't like somebody's inflections, and they're on pitch, they're technically perfect, and I just don't.
But yeah, you don't feel
Feel it.
anything. Yeah.
But you know, I was watching a very interesting YouTube video the other day about the singer who sings Smooth Operator,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
she's always sharp
Yeah.
the entire time, and I never noticed before watching that YouTube video.
Right.
Because I like her style.
That's fair. So yeah, it has to evoke something within the listeners and yourself actually, more importantly. Like are you experiencing and are you 100% present towards whatever you're singing? That's might influence how other people are listening to your music, right? So that's a very important one at that. Any other ideas? Yes. I can come up with another. Like being on beat, for example, or having an understanding of rhythm, right? Like even if the drummer is playing and I sing, but the drum fill has ended and I still haven't finished and I'm dragging the whole thing, it might not, even if I'm singing in pitch, it might not really feel like, it's sounding right. And so there's pitch and then there's rhythm. So the two aspects or yeah, North Pole and South Pole, but they work together, right? Need both of them. So anyway, I have some more ideas about this, so I'm gonna give you guys some handouts here, and the first page it kind of has some of these ideas we're talking about, but then I'll also talk about like other.
I also have paper and pens so you guys can take notes.
Yeah, if you guys.
I think I have enough.
That's awesome. Here you go.
Do you
have any except the orange ones?
Okay.
Any color?
Oh, are you colorblind?
No, it's just very bright.
That's fair. Yeah, awesome. And here, Natalia, in case you want one too.
Thank you.
Sweet. Yeah, and if anyone's feeling shy, I can come out and tell you guys that I'm super introverted, and the only time I really go and actually speak in public, I like freak out. So it's really nice actually. You guys are making me feel really warm here, and so I encourage you to like butt in and talk whenever you want and stuff like that. It's very informed. Yeah, the only time I'm actually not shy is when I sing, so that's a funny thing. But yeah, so what makes for good singing? I kind of put down some things here. Good pitching, like we spoke about, understanding of rhythm, and if you're in a Western context, you need to understand harmony, what your voice is doing in relation to what is happening underneath you. If you're playing with other instruments, or yeah, whatever. If there's a backing track, whatever else. If there's other music playing under you while you're singing on top of it, you need to understand how they work hand in hand to really enhance your singing, right? Because as singers, we know the melody, right? We know the words. We know what the words mean. We know the rhythm to the words, but often we forget what the other instruments are doing, what roles they're playing to make our voice sound good. So it's kind of like a two-way relationship, right? The instrumentalists have to play in a way that they don't, are not obstructive to the singer's interpretation of the song, and the vice versa, right? You need to know what's happening underneath. So whatever you sing actually gives to the music as opposed to take away from it. So that. And then ability to maintain tempo or keep a pulse, right? Have you guys heard of the metronome? I'm sure you have. Right? Something that keeps you in check, and you can't lie to it because it's time, right? So, very important thing, just building a sense of internal rhythm, right? So even if, say, you're at a show, you're playing with a guitar player, and say the amp messes up, so the guitar sound is completely out of there. What are you going to do then? Okay, so you're not relying on the guitar to keep your internal sense of rhythm and pulse. So you can keep going until the guitar guy fixes his things and comes back in. You maintained your integrity with your rhythm, right? So that's an important part of these things that we need to work on as singers, that instrumentalists actually focus a lot more on. Like we focus on other things and they focus on other things, but we need to focus on all the things that they focus on too. That way we're superhuman and we know everything. So that's how you go into gigs, right? Enunciation, right? And something you said, Victoria, you said inflections, right? So if I'm singing the song in pitch and with rhythm, but if I'm singing like, say, Fly Me to the Moon, I'm sure you guys have heard that song. So if I went, fly me to the moon, let me play on the shore, I'm singing in pitch, I'm singing with rhythm, but something's missing, the words aren't getting through. So really making sure that whatever vowel sounds you're making, whatever consonants that are going to come with relation to sound, that they're clear and that they're planned and they're controlled in some ways. So if I sing, fly me to the moon and let me play among the stars, right? Same thing, sang the same melody, sang the same rhythm, but because my mouth and my vowel shapes and my mouth was ready to actually project that sound, the sound actually went through to the back of the church. I can sing in this church without a mic, right? And The reason is that you have your mouth open and as a vessel for your sound to come out, right? And not get trapped within here, within your face. It has to project outwards. So that's a part of enunciation, right? Clarity is another thing. Clarity is an open-ended thing. So it could mean clarity when you say your words, clarity when you're hitting the notes, clarity with when being assertive with rhythm, when you're speaking those words or singing those words, right? Lots of things. Ability to improvise. Okay, this one is, if depending on the genre that you are indulging in, a lot of us don't really improvise a lot. Like if you're singing pop music, you know the melody, it's a fixed melody, there's fixed words and everything. But I feel like the ability to improvise is a very big one for all singers. And the reason I attest to that is because that's where you start building your own musical language, right? It's not just listening to sounds and being able to recreate it as singers. So listening to a song or being able to sing it back, which is amazing, right? It also has a lot of nuanced things. You're listening to melody, you're understanding that melody, your brain is trying to translate it through your own throat. Okay, lots of things are happening there. But the ability to improvise means tools to write your own songs in the future. That's like a gateway into songwriting, right? So having, and it can be very intimidating to improvise, because that literally means you can do anything you want, right? But really, there's tools to be able to improvise as well. So say at a gig, you're playing a pop song, and in the middle, the guitar guy is taking a solo. Say there's a guitar solo. Say you don't want a guitar solo, you want a vocal solo, something different, right? And say there's like a few chords going on, like whatever. Just simple chords, right? And there's nothing, there's no words, there's no melody that's given to you. But they're like, oh, just take a solo, right? What would you do, right? You need to have some form of a musical vocabulary that's outside of the melodies that you've heard, and using other melodies that you've heard as inspiration is also a tool, actually. But yeah, we'll talk about that later, but ability to improvise. And then good breathing, posture, and technique, which Natalia would attest to. I am still struggling with this. And we often fall back, slip into patterns that are unhealthy for our body to do long term. And right now, sometimes we can get away with bad technique and we can do things. But 10 years down the line, you'll find that you hit a wall and your voice isn't growing beyond that, right? And if you hit that point, it's probably because something underneath, like the foundation, which is having your technique, having your posture, if these things are not in place, you can only grow this much, and you can't open up to, like, you know, I mean, it'll be limited, but the possibilities are actually limitless to how good your voice can be, right? So that's one of the foundation things. We're not going to talk much about the good breathing posture today, but Natalia is definitely going to help you with that as
They
you
get
go
that
along,
all the
right?
time for me.
Yeah. And then the last thing is hearing and transcription. Who here knows what transcription means? Yes?
To write down the notes that you're hearing.
Yeah, and you know, in some forms it may not even be writing down, it may just be decoding the information and knowing, right? So whatever you're hearing, the melody, we have good ears as singers. So whatever we hear, we are able to sing back, right? It's like speaking, right? You learn a language when you're a baby. You're not necessarily, it just comes to you. You listen to it and your brain has processed the sound and you speak your first words. And singing is quite like that. But sometimes we need a methodical approach to what is actually happening here. What are the notes that I'm singing in relation to the key that I'm in, right? So really knowing what the melody is doing, not just really being able to sing it. Singing it is, well, it's the most important part, but I think if you want to take it to the next step, you really need to know what the melody is actually doing. So that. And then I wrote this I underlined it. Lastly, but most importantly, practicing and working your voice through different challenges, right? Because if you have one exercise that you sing every day, your voice is going to get really good at singing that one thing. But really, if we want our voice to be able to do whatever you want, literally anything that you hear, no matter how fast, how crazy it sounds, right? If you want to be able to do that, you have to challenge your voice to do things that are tough every time you practice. That is not slipping into your old patterns of, oh, I know how to do this exercise. I'm just going to sing it 100 times and call it practice, right? That's still practice, yes, but there's more effective ways of practicing, which is challenging yourself with material that is actually hard to sing, and sometimes like your brain really has to work it out and your throat really has to get used to it, which is a good thing. Putting it in a scary place, right? And then remember, it's much like trying to build muscles. It doesn't happen overnight, and it doesn't happen with like one trip to the gym. Like you can't go work out for 4 hours and expect to have abs. It's as simple as that, you know. You go, you do this every day. I used to wake up at 3:30 in the morning to do my exercises. And I don't ask that you guys do that. I'm just saying, morning practices are really good for singers. And I'll tell you why. I'm not going to just generically say that to torture you guys. But have you ever noticed how your voice feels when you wake up?
Horrible.
Horrible. It feels like really coarse. It's even really hard to speak at a higher pitch, right? You feel like in the morning. And if that's the time you choose to practice, when your voice is very inflexible, not feeling very flexible, what you're doing is you're training your voice to do things while it's not flexible. So imagine taking that same practice towards some other part of the day, like when you're singing in the evening. Whatever practices that you did in the morning that was tough to actually achieve becomes like smooth like butter in other parts of the day, right? So you're actually training your voice to be malleable when it's feeling the most not flexible, right? So that's a very important, useful tip that my guru and all Indian classical singers have attested to for thousands of years. You know, it's an age-old thing. So that's one thing. So yeah, with that, we'll get into the actual workshop, I guess. So today we're essentially going to talk about how to get superhuman voice control. And I guess I can't call it superhuman because humans do it and humans do it. But the thing is that we listen to all these guitar things, like really fast licks and things like that. And we're like, oh, voices can't do that. But the reality is that voices can do anything and everything and at any speed. And, you know, that's just the reality. It's just the kind of practice that you do. So, first concept we're going to talk about is accenting the notes. So this is something that comes from the Indian classical tradition. So I don't know if a lot of people talk about this in the Western world, but I have taken this to my Western side of singing and it's worked wonders. So I'll talk about it. So accenting notes, right? So let's take a scale, a normal major scale, right? Right? So you have, let's just say, is that a puppy or what? Anyway.
No, it's somebody putting a hitch on the back of their car.
Scary. So if you take a major scale, and one thing is, I'm going to talk in numbers. Have you guys ever worked in numbers?
Yeah.
It's like do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, right? Do, ti, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do, right? You know the solfege. It's the same thing, but it's numbers. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, and 1, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, right? So what we're doing is as the numbers go up, the voice also goes up naturally. As the numbers are coming down, the voice also goes down. So we're going to talk in numbers today, just because it's universal, I guess. And it really helps when you're working with other musicians that don't, like instrumentalists that don't know solfege. So it helps when you tell them in numbers, they understand. So numbers. So let's take a major scale. If I was going to sing this with oo, I'm going to sing the whole thing up and down in oo, but I'm not going to accent each note. So it's going to sound like this. Ooh, right? And my other way is to accent the notes. So I go ooh, ooh, What is the difference? What do you guys hear? Anyone want to say what the difference, like what sounded better and why? Maybe. It's okay, don't be scared. You can say whatever you want, really. No pressure though. So, okay, I guess I'll tell you. But it just like, if you're doing runs and stuff, if you have to sing a lot of notes in a short span of time, what happens is they all blend into each other. Like you saw the first one. Just, there's 7 notes in there, there's 8 notes in there as I'm going up. Ooh. But it really doesn't, you can't really hear when the 8 notes are happening. It's almost like the one note is blending into the next note, right? And the second way I sang was ooh. It's like every note is special and gets its own accent, right? So that's really important when you're singing runs and stuff, right? If you're going to sing something like ooh, right? Simple, whatever, R&B lick or something in a pop song, whatever, right? If I sang that without the accent, it's going to sound ooh, right? It doesn't sound as impressive. I'm still hitting the notes, but it doesn't have that clarity and the importance that every note deserves. So how do we get that accent? There's 2 ways to approach this, okay? So you using the epiglottal muscles to accent each note. So this is very internal, so it takes a little while for you to figure this out for yourself. But I take the major scale and I go, spend time on each note, but I really jerk into the next note like this. Ooh, 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 ooh. It's almost like I'm hitting that note, like with a hammer. So I want you guys to, you can sing together, some, none of you are put on the spot, but I want you to give this a shot and kind of see what that sensation feels like within you, right? So we're gonna go 1, 2, here we go. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Right? You guys want to do this on your own once? I'm really loud. 1, 2, here we go. Pretty good. Nice, you guys are beautiful singers. Wow, that's awesome. I'm so happy to hear you guys. That's really cool.
We'll have you back as a choir.
Yeah, I'm like, we should start a band together. So I know it sounds kind of comedic, right? When you sing it like this. It does. I'm not gonna lie. The first time I heard that, I was like, oh, this is strange. Like, I feel like this is gonna make people laugh. Like, sounds really strange and funny. But really, this is exaggerating what your throat is going to do, even when you're singing something fast. And this is the process. Except the exaggerated feeling goes away when you have to sing something not at that speed. For example, ooh, will sound ooh, ooh, ooh. And now the same muscles are being worked when I'm singing it faster, but it's the same sensation that we actually just did. So that's one. And if you find that hard to kind of figure out like how that feels, there's another approach here that I thought may help some of you, which is the concept of turning off the previous note before singing the next note. What that means is, when I'm singing my first note, I go, ooh, right? I kind of turned down the volume, or I turned off the note. I went down, I brought the note down. So I go, ooh, 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 ooh. You see what I'm doing there? Right? I'm just decreasing the volume, and then I'm giving the next one the volume, right? The full force. So if the muscle thing doesn't work for you, kind of incorporate the other idea until you can figure out actually how this works for you, right? So if you take the same concept and if you keep practicing it at this tempo, and then once you feel comfortable and you know that sensation within your throat, you start speeding it up in your practice, right? You go, ooh, right? And then ooh, and then you can keep going, ooh, and every note still got its accent. accent, right? You could hear every note ending and the next note starting. And this is the trick to runs, the one simple thing. This is literally what sets a really good singer apart from people that can still sing, sing in tune, right? There's like nuances within your voice that, because you guys are gonna do this seriously, and you want to go to music school and stuff, right? So this is what sets you apart from anyone else that can also sing or does it as a hobby, right? You need to take it to the next level. So it requires a lot of dedication and practice. I know I came back to that point. Oh, I keep coming back to that one. Anyway, so this accenting is applicable to any exercise that you're gonna do, right? In your future, anything, literally anything, you name it, you want to do it this way. And if you're gonna, it's still practice to do ooh, ooh. And at some point when you start speeding it up, it all becomes one umbrella, right? It doesn't sound clear. There's no crispness to it. So that's why we're talking about this. So the most important thing I was gonna say today was that, right? And it doesn't matter what genre you're gonna sing, it still is applicable to that. And this comes from the Hindustani tradition, so gem. So that, now, the next thing is make your own exercise. And I came up with this. I call it that because I get bored of practicing the same thing every day. And I don't believe in boring practice. I don't believe in having a couple of exercises and singing it every morning, And the reason why is, what happens when you sing something over and over again, like for 30 minutes straight, if I kept going, my mind starts wandering because I'm doing the same thing. I don't even need to be thinking about it, right? So my mind can be thinking about what I'm going to eat next or something, or whatever else, And your mind is not challenged. Your voice is still being challenged because you're repeating the exercise over and over again. And honestly, it may get boring. You might not even feel like doing it, right? You're like, oh, I have to sing the same thing again 25 times. You look at the clock and you're like, oh, I have to do this for 15 minutes. And I don't believe in practice like that. I feel like practice can be ongoing. I practiced on the way here in my transit for 5 minutes. And, I practiced internally. So there's multiple ways of practicing too. So this make your own exercise is a small example of how you can come up with your own exercises and therefore never get bored. And your voice won't get bored, and neither will your mind, because you have to be alert towards what you're singing and everything's going to be new. So step 1, take 4 numbers in a row. For example, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Which is, in our case, is going to sound like 1, 2, 3, 4, right? These are the 4 numbers we've picked. So, very simple. Make as many different combinations as you can think of by replacing the order of the numbers, right? So I started with 1, 2, 3, 4, and I've come up with an example for you guys, which is random. It's all, like I said, I started, and I kind of went methodically. I started with 1s, then I went with 2s, and then I mixed up the 3s and 4s, right? But really, it can be absolutely random, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 1, 3, 4, 3, 1, 2, 4, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 1, whatever you can think of. Just jumble them up. Come up with a row of 10 or 15 or 20 or whatever. Right?
Websites that can do that for randomizers.
Yeah, there's randomizers online. You can do that, use that too. You don't even have to do it yourself. So what this does is, you have to be alert towards what you're doing. You're also associating the number towards the sound, the pitch, the interval, right? And you're training your voice to move between these intervals fluidly. That makes sense? So let's look at the first example here, which is, it starts with a simple 1, 2, 3, 4. But if you look at the second one, it's 1, 2, 4, 3, right? So all of these numbers have their own pitch. So you have to make sure that the number and the pitch match when you're singing, right? And if you think of it as numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? There are 4 different steps. It's like thinking of 4 different levels in your voice. So if you're going 1, 2, 3, 4, it's all climbing up, right? But now I'm going 1, 2, and then jumping 4 to 4. 1, 2, 4, and then coming back down to 3. So 1, 2, 4, 3, right? So if you try to sing the series, and then the third one is 1, 3, 2, 4, right? Da, 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 da. So let's try to sing this and let's see how we feel about it, right? And I'll play the piano while we do this. So, all right, we'll go 1, 2, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 4, 3. 1, 3, 2, 4. 1, 3, 4, 2. 1, 4, 3, 2. 1, 4, 2, 3. Nice. 2, 1, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 4. 1, 3. 2, 4, 3. 1, 2, 1, 4, 3. Nice. 2, 3, 1, 4, 3, 4. 1, 2, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 1, 3, 1, 2, 2, 4, 3, 1, 2, 3, 2, 1, 4, 4, 2, 3, 1, 4, 2, 1, 3. Yeah, what did you guys think? Like, do you feel like you got how it works and how it feels in your voice? Like, does that make sense? Yeah, it's like hard to read because all the numbers are like they look like a lot of numbers. It looks like coding, which is not good, but
Coding for singers.
yeah, but you get the idea, right? So this is just the first 4 numbers. If you think about it, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, but you could have done 2, 3, 4, 5. You could have done 3, 4, 5, 6. You could have done 5, 6, 7, or 4, 5, 6, 7, right? You could have, so essentially you can pick different numbers, come up with different combinations by using this number game or whatever you want to call it. And once you start feeling comfortable with the series, you can pick up the speed, right? And you can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 4, 3, 1, 3, 2, 4, 1, 3, 4, 2, 1, 4, 3, 2, 1, 4, 2, 3, right? And this entire time, because I have come up with this random sequence, I have to be focused too. It's not like something that is repetition, right? So you really have to be alert and you really have to know what you're doing. So yeah, so like once you feel comfortable, you can push yourself and make the exercise a little bit harder. And like I said, sing the numbers with a metronome in a key of your choice, starting at a tempo that is comfortable to you. So do it at a tempo where you think you can nail them all, right? And this is the thing, it gets boring to have to, is that my phone?
Yeah, I think
Oh
so.
my God, I'm so sorry about that. Okay. So yeah, there's no point really rushing towards it, right? You want accuracy and you want your voice to ring while you're doing this. So thinking about posture, thinking about, again, the accenting thing that I spoke about. Once you feel like, okay, you can look at the numbers, but think of the numbers in your head, think of the pitch in your head, you can change it to vowels, like ooh, with the accent, ooh, right? Ooh, right? Same thing. Then you can do it e, whatever, e, or ah, same thing, but you need to do the accent each time. So that's that. Just an example, you know, and then once you feel confident doing numbers in a series, which is numbers in a row, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 5, or whatever, you can do jumps or leaps, and then it gets a little bit more complicated. Okay, because it's not numbers in a series, the numbers are a little bit further away. So I haven't written anything for skips, but I want to do a little short example. You guys are fans, don't you? Awesome. So we're going to take that example there, which is 1, 3, 5, and 7. So what we're doing is actually skipping a number each time, right? We're skipping 2, going to 3, 1, 3, skipping 4, going to 5, What if we did the same process, but now it's 1, 3, 5, 7? So let the first one be 1, 3, 5, 7. Do you guys want to give me the next couple? Like anyone? Just jumble up the numbers and give me a sequence.
Why don't you, Caitlin, make something up. And then you can write it down.
Mm-hmm. 7. Yeah, so you have 1, 3, 5, and 7. Could go 7, 5, 3, 1 if you want. Okay. 1, 3, 5, 7.
Get a whiteboard.
Ooh, there is a whiteboard here? Wow.
Oh, hidden
wow.
carefully away.
No one steals the whiteboard.
And all I've got to do is find it.
So. Oh, sweet.
Not yet.
Hidden favor.
That's okay. I guess we don't
Yeah,
necessarily
we don't
need
need
it.
to. Just
You know
No,
what?
I can find it. Just carry on.
Yeah, 1, 3, 5, 7, 7, 5, 3, 1.
1, 5, 3, 7.
1, 5, 3, 7. We have the next one. We'll do 2 more, and then we'll have a row of 5 numbers that way. 3, 7, 1, 5. Yeah, you guys remember this? Is someone writing this down?
Oh, she said 5, 3, 7, 1.
Oops, sorry, I heard that wrong.
So,
Okay, 5, 3,
Make sure
7,
you
1.
write it down, 'cause I didn't bring enough pen.
And the last one,
7, 3, 5.
7, 3, 5, 1. There we have it. Great. We'll wait for Brian, and then
Nice.
nice. Oh my God.
Not bad, eh?
Wow.
Fancy pen.
Fully equipped.
I knew there was a whiteboard here. I love writing on a whiteboard. Makes me feel like a teacher.
Okay, let's go. 1, 3, 5, 7.
First one, simple.
7, 5, 3, 1.
7, 5, 3, 1.
1, 5, 3, 7.
1, 5, 3, 7.
5, 3, 7, 1.
5, 3, 7, 1.
7, 3, 5, 1.
7, 3, 5, 1. Sweet. Okay, awesome. I love that. Oh my God, I'm obsessed now. Okay. I have a big whiteboard and marker.
How to win friends.
Wow, Brian, you literally made my day now. Okay.
Do you want to start this, you know?
Oh, no, I'm
Are you
good. I'm
sure?
good. Yeah, it's fine.
You know the story behind the stool.
You need to tell me, what is it? Is it for, it looks like it's out of a jazz bar.
This is a stool from Corey Wheat's Cellar Jazz Club.
I knew it.
You did know that. I told you that the
I've
last time you were
seen this,
here.
Yeah, I feel like this is from a jazz club.
There we go.
Yeah. Nice.
There you go.
I'll throw. Okay, so simple, right? The first one, all ascending, voice going up. So 1, 3, 5, 7. Can I hear you sing that, you guys? 1, 3, 5, 7. Exactly, great, amazing. So now you notice we're going from the top 7 and we're going down this time. So 7, 5, 3, 1. So let's sing the first 2. 1, 3, 5, 7, 7, 5, 3, 1. Right? And then now, a little of a jump over. 1, 5, jumping to 1 to 5. So we're also learning in some ways how a 1 to 5 sounds, a fifth, right? So 1, 5, 3, 7. Nice. And then 5, 3, 7, 1. Right? The last one. 7, 3. That's a big jump. 7, 3, 5, 1. Right? So now you notice how much your voice has to jump between all of this. So if we put a metronome to it.
Do you want to mention?
Oh no, it's okay. I'll do an internal click maybe. Ready? 1, 2, here we go. 1, 3, 5, 7, 7, 5, 3, 1. 1, 5, 3, 7, 5, 3, 7, 1. 7, 3, 5, 1. And you know, I would have struggled with that one too. Because it's such a big jump. 7, 3, 7, 3, 7, 3, 7, 3, 5, 1, 5, 1, 5, 1. You know, you really take these jumps and like mess around with them. also, just another tip. But you realize like when you start pulling the numbers apart, the distance that your voice has to travel is much higher, and therefore you really need to be sure what those notes are to hit that, you know. So just another idea. It could be 1, 4, 6, 1, or something crazy like that. 1, 3, 5, 1, or 1, 2, 5, 1. It could be anything, you know. So just an idea. So that's make your own exercise. I hope that you guys will, you know, actually maybe work with this, fool around with it, and see what you come up with, right? And every sequence you come up with is also unique, so it's kind of fun that way. I find it fun. I'm a nerd. Okay, next thing I guess on our to-do, I did bring a lot of material, but whatever resonates with you, just take it and work on it. You know, chromatic notes. So we've just been talking about major notes right now: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. But the note between the notes, or the black keys in the keyboard, if you start on the C, right? The notes between the notes. So let's sing the chromatic scale, which is, there's 2 versions of 2, 2 versions of 3, 2 versions of 4. There's only 1 5. There's 2 versions of 6, 2 versions of 7, and there's back to 1, right? So how would that sound? 1, 2, which is your flat 2. You see the B is the symbol for flat and sharp. I'm sure you guys have encountered this as musicians. Flats and sharps. So let's try to sing the chromatic scale up and down. So we'll go all the way back to the top one and come back down. Ready? We don't need to say flat and sharp. We'll just sing it as 2 2s. We'll just say 2. Ready? 1, 2, here we go. 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, 6, 6, 7, 7, 1. Come back down. 1, 7, 7, 6, 6, 5, 4, 4, 3, 3, 2, 2, 1. Really nice job, you guys. Man, you guys are good singers. Hey, you're good students out here. Wow, very lucky. Yeah.
Very, very blessed.
That's awesome. I'm like super impressed. But so this is actually making that dichotomy within your voice, making those little pockets and knowing exactly what, you know, having all the notes at your disposal, essentially, right? All the notes within the octave, that in the Western system, that is. There are more notes in other cultures, more than 12. But you know, for most popular music and the music that we listen to or you guys listen to, this is the code. So here are some drills. So and the next thing I was talking about is some drills to make jumps seem natural. So this is a very simple drill, very simple. It just goes, you start on a 1, so your 1 is like your home, right? It's your anchor. It's where, it's the key that you're adhering to. So you take that 1 as your home, as your bottom, and you're gonna go 1, 2, and then 1, 3, 1, 4. So each time you're jumping to the next note, but it's a further distance to cover. Does that make sense? So let's sing this one together. 1, 2, here we go. 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 4, 1, 5, 1, 6, 1, 7, 1, 1. Pretty good. And then the descending pattern that I've come up with for this is you go from the top one to the bottom one, and this time the distance keeps closing, right? So you're starting at the maximum distance, that is an octave for our purposes, and then you keep coming closer. So now you're going 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 4, 1, 5, 1, 6, 1, 7, 1, 1. So let's do that one. Ready? 1, 2, here we go. 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 4, 1, 5, 1, 6, 1, 7, 1. Pretty good. So when you go, if you notice on the 7 now, it's really close to the 1, 1, 7, right? So it's kind of like measuring that distance, but internally as a feeling in your voice, but also associating the distances that you're covering, right? So yeah, once you feel comfortable doing that, because now we're only dealing with major intervals. Once you feel comfortable doing that, incorporate the chromatic scale into your exercise. So what we're going to do is go through all the versions of the notes, right? We're not just going to go 1, 2, 1, 3. We're going to go 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, 4, 1, 4, 1, 5, 1, 6, 1, 6, 1, 7, 1, 7, 1, 1. Right, if you come back down. 1, 7, 1, 7, 1, 6, 1, 6, 1, 5, 1, 4, 1, 4, 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 1. Right? And to be able to do that, it's like, it really is just cutting those intervals into your brain. So let's try to sing this exercise. Now we're going to go through all the different versions of the notes, right?
You can do it.
That's a good one, right?
Especially Greek music does this well too, so you have an excuse.
Yeah, it's a good one. It's a really good one. So I don't think, I don't know if this is actually the whole, oh, okay. Only this one doesn't have all the
Oh,
pages.
did I miss? Did my printer
Okay, yeah, no,
decide
that's
to-
fine. I think if you guys are missing pages after that, then let me know. But yeah. So let's, there should be 5 pages, yeah.
Yeah, that should be fine.
Cool. So let's sing this exercise together. 1, 2, here we go. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, 4, 1, 4, 1, 5, 1, 6, 1, 7, 1, 7, 1. Oh, did I miss one? 1, 1. Let's do that again. 1, 2, here we go. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, 4, 1, 4, 1, 5, 1, 6, 1, 6, 1, 7, 1, 7, 1, 1. Pretty good. My bad. And then descending pattern for the same thing. It's not written on here, but it's the same thing. We're starting on the top one this time. But we go 1, 7, 1, 7, 1, 6, 1, 6. Ready? So 1, 2, here we go. 1, 7, 1, 7, 1, 6, 1, 6, 1, 5, 1, 4, 1, 4, 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 1. So if you notice, it gets really hard to hit that one, right? Which we keep singing actually. But as you get further and further away from that one, it's actually hard to hit that note. Actually, when you're closer to the 3s and 2s at the bottom, you go 1, 5, 1, 4, 1, 4, 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, 2, 1. You have to hit that one like a dart, like the bullseye, right? You don't want to scoop into the note. You don't want to go like 1, 5, 1, 4, 1. You don't want to do that. So you're reaching for the note. You want to hit it like a dart. This is what I like to visualize when I'm hitting those notes. I hope that's helpful. It's just a simple trick, but really, really valuable. And once you feel comfortable doing this stuff, just speed it up, right? To make it more challenging. You don't want it to get boring. You go 1, 7, 1, 7, 1, 6, 1, 6, and still try to hit every note like it's on the piano, right? And it doesn't go off tune if you're pressing the right key. So that's how voice should be too. If you intend for that note, you sing that note. Nothing around it, nothing reaching into it or whatever. Sounds very stern, but I'm easy. Okay. Then incorporating rhythmic concepts into the same practice. So all of this was geared towards making your voice be more flexible and to be able to do whatever it wants to do. But we got to practice our rhythmic. We have to practice. It's kind of hitting two. Is that called 2 birds with 1 stone? I don't know much English. Is it 2 birds with 1 stone?
Yeah.
Okay. So 2 birds with 1 stone. You're training your voice and you're understanding rhythm at the same time, right? It's kind of like working on 2 concepts with the same exercise. So I'm sure you guys know this as well. Like if you take one beat, right? 1, 1, 1, 1. This time I didn't divide it. But you can, time is literally, if in 1 second there's so many milliseconds, right? Time can be divided into so many fragments and fractions. And some of them are not perceivable to the human ear, or the human ear cannot decode that kind of minute time differences within the realm, but we can to a certain point. So in that way, we have tried to make sense of music in the way that humans do, which is to give maths to it, which is, I don't understand that either. So it's math. So if you take one beat, you split it into two, let's say call it a quarter note or whatever. You guys read music or trying to read music or whatever. So one quarter note, split it, you get 2 8 notes. Now it's 2 equal beats that came from one beat. If we do the same thing, we realize we can also divide it into odd numbers, in odd fractions. So if I divide it by 2, I could go 1 and 1 and, or 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. I could divide it into 3, which has now become an odd number. So now it's a little bit more tricky, but all the 3 subdivisions have to be of equal length. So 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3, or triple it, triple it, triple it, triple it, whatever you guys like to use. It's all the same thing. And again, it's the same thing. If you divide the beat into 4, you get 1 E and a 2 E and, or 1 E and a 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4, right? It's all the one comes from that one beat, or one length of time that you're dividing into equal portions of different portions. So how do you use this into the exercises that we're just talking about, right? So let's take a simple major scale that we all know. So 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 1, or do re mi fa sol la ti do ti la sol la mi re do, right? Whatever. So you start off with singing the major scale up and down constantly, but you're going to do it in different subdivisions. For example, I'm going to go in order. I'm going to divide it into 2, into 3, and then into 4, right? So I'll go 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. I haven't divided now. 1 7 6 5 4 3 2 1. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 1 7 6 5 4 3 2 1. So what happened there? There were 2 notes per beat, right? Per click. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. So we've divided it into 2. It's become 2, whatever you call it, 8 notes, right? Now triple it. Now it gets more complicated because triplets, well, it's an odd number. And when we're going 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 1, it's 8, right? So if you put the maths together, it will not finish where you think it should finish. So for example, we have 1 2 3 1 2 3 triple it, triple it. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 1 1 7 6 5 4 3 2 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 1 7 6 5 4 3 2 1, right? And that way you have to keep the integrity of the triplet itself, but you're also trying to keep the scale going, right? With the correct pitches in the correct order. So same thing with the, so triplets become more complicated. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 1. But now 7 1 is there's 2 beats left, right? And there's 1 extra. So now you have to come back down, and it all feels like it's lopsided, right? 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 1 1 7 6 5 4 3 2 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3. So you're maintaining the triplet rhythm, but you're also working your voice. So two birds with a stone. I remember that one now. And then dividing the beat into 4. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 1 1 7 6 5 4 3 2 1 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 1. Right? Simple, because it's even, it works out, it feels natural. So how to make this more complicated and how to make life more complicated. So you mix and match these in the middle randomly. So how you do that is, say I started with, I'm gonna go with the different subdivisions here. So I'm gonna go, this is a B bar 4 4 or whatever. And if I divide it into 2, I would have this like 2 8 notes, right? In the same beat, right? If I divide into 3, I would have, what do you call it? Triplet, right? And then if I had a 4, I would have, excuse my terrible, I use notation software, so I've forgotten how to use. So you have 4. So if I want to do the same exercise, I can point to myself randomly and switch them in the middle of the sequence. Throw yourself off, surprise yourself. For example, I go 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 1 7 6 5 4 3 2 1. Right? I randomly went to the triplet. So I really need to know how the triplet sounds, but I also have to keep the major scale going. So does this make sense to you, or is this like completely out there? I don't know. Yeah, you tell me if this is all cool. So I could go randomly. I could go 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 1 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 1 1 7 6 5 4 3 2 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 1 1 7 6 5 4 3 2 1 2 3 4, right? And keeps you on your toes. It's really good exercise actually. And yeah, this is just the first 4. You can actually divide the beat into 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 in other cultures. So it's worth trying. I'm just gonna quickly talk about that. I mean, it's not necessarily relevant, but if you have like a, what do you call a quintuplet, you have 5 in one beat. And sometimes, because it's really hard to go 1 2 3 4 5 1 2 3 4 5 1 2 3 4 5 1 2 3 4 5, we go, sometimes we club them 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 3 1 2, or the other way around. We could go 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 3. So this is starting to understand that time can actually be divisible in innumerable ways, right? So it's just scratching the surface. So if you really start thinking about it, time can get crazy. So it can drive you insane. So don't think too hard, I would say. Anyway, so that's how you can incorporate your singing with some rhythmic exercises, right? Simple stuff. Then maybe we should try singing this together, right? Yeah, we should do this. So let's do the major scale up and down. We'll go 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 1, and then 1 7 6 5. So we're going to repeat the one at the top, right? So we'll start with the simple here. 1, so 1 2 3 go. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 1 1 7 6 5 4 3 2 1 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 1 1 7 6 5 4 3 2 1 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 1 7 6 5 4 3 2 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 1 7 6 5 4 3 2 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 1 7 6 5 4 3 2 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 1 7 6 5 4 3 2 1. Does that make sense? Yeah, and then the thing is, going in order can also get comfortable. That's why I say, switch it up. Like randomly in the middle, like 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 1 7 6 5 4, whatever. I did the opposite anyway. Or I did at the opposite things. But anyway, that's the idea, right? So that's your incorporating rhythm into different practices. And I'm just going to skim over the rest because I feel like there's a lot of material there. But at least you guys have the handout so you can make sense of it. when you go home.
And we'll definitely go through all of this in your lessons as well, yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, hopefully I'll see you guys another time in the future or something, and we'll talk about more stuff.
Mhm.
But make your own exercise, right? So, but this has to do with scales this time. So it's basically, that's your normal major scale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. You start to randomize the order of the same scale. You put the numbers and you make sure all the numbers are there, but they're not in order. So the first one I came up with was 1, 3, 4, 2, 1, 7, 6, 5. It has all the notes in the major scale, but now it's completely out of the order. But you really need to know what those notes are. So therefore, you're also associating that number with the pitch. And then the next example is like 1, 4, 7, 2, 6, 5, 3, 1. Right? Completely out of order, kind of jumbled up. So, and then to make matters more intricate, start to incorporate chromatic notes in your scales. For example, I've added it's a normal major scale, and then I've added instead of a 4, it's a sharp 4 this time. So it's also called Lydian, that scale. So instead of 1, 2, 3, 4, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, right? And same thing. Now, the next one, the scale is, this is a kind of a pentatonic scale. So there's only 5 notes in the scale. 1, flat, 3, 4, 5, flat, 7, 1, 1, 7, 5, 4, 3, 1. Right? Yeah. Yeah, it's just some of the stuff. And then on the last page for you guys, I just put some drills that I came up with on the fly. And again, this is another way to keep it interesting. Wow, it's hot, even for me. So I come up with the first numbers. Like I came up with this. So the first pattern was 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, and the 7 below. 1, 2, 1, 7, 1, right? And I just add one number to each. This row, the sequence of 5 that I came up with. 1 becomes 2, 2 becomes 3, 1 becomes 2, 7 becomes 1, right? 1 becomes 2. Same thing here, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, etc. Keeps going. So now you have 1, 2, 1, 7, 1, 2, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, 4, 5, 6, 5, 4, 5, right? And then you do it as a ooh or whatever. Ooh, with the accents. Ooh, sorry for speeding that up, but that's how you build the runs. That's how you get the control. So you start slow, make it faster and faster as you get more comfortable. But you can this sequence could have been anything, right? It could have been 1, 3, 4, 2, or whatever. It could have been anything. So the idea is you just add a number and you come up with your own exercise. So yeah, I guess that kind of concludes our workshop. I don't know how useful this is to you guys, but it's definitely some ideas that come from different cultures as well. So it's always good to also listen to all different kinds of music, and even if you want to sing a specific genre, which is like musical theater, pop, or whatever you guys, or symphonic metal, which is also super cool. Whatever you want to sing, music is the language that is universal, right? These things carry on no matter what genre that you go on to sing or participate in. And it's always worth it to listen to all different cultures of music, and these tips and tricks that you can pick up from different cultures just adds to one big cause, which is the music within you, your musical language, and like who you are as a musician. Like all of these things enhance your musical vocabulary as well. And then you can take that vocabulary and choose to do whatever you want with it, whatever genre, whatever sounds. Same thing. So yeah, that's me. But I love to talk about this all the time. So you guys can, Natalia will give you my email. So if you guys have questions or anything, email me, and I'm quick to respond. So yeah.
Does anybody have any questions right now?
Yeah, you guys have any questions and stuff about anything? I mean, Hopefully I was clear, so there aren't any questions. No, I mean, it's all good. But yeah, it was really lovely hearing you guys sing. I know you guys were gonna sing a song for me, but I'm sure we'll like run out of time
Yeah, we're
today,
done.
but maybe we'll do this one more time.
Yeah,
in a
I'm always
couple of
thinking
months
that
from
there
now.
should be a part 2. Yeah. And
Yeah.
because then they can kind of work through what you think maybe in the fall.
Yeah,
Yeah. Oh, some of them. Yeah.
yeah, I'd love to hear you guys sing the next time we meet, and we can talk about performance and other things.
Yeah.
Not geek out on numbers. But I feel like this is like the, what do you call that? This is the foundation that you have to build. And I found that the same exercises that I did before I started learning jazz is like now pushed me towards being a better jazz singer. And you wouldn't even expect how things work out, you know, in their own ways. The things that don't seem useful to you right now, so like subliminally or in your subconscious, they're actually enhancing you. You know, I figured that, you know, I had to wake up at 3:30. I hated my parents and my teacher for making me do that. But right now and today in this moment, I don't. And whatever practices you choose to do, like in the moment, you don't see the point of it because it doesn't have immediate results. But 4 or 5 years down the line, when you hear yourself, you're like, I'm so glad I did that. So that's the whole reason to practice. And make it fun, right? Hopefully not singing the same exercises every day and, you know, making it like a routine, like don't do that. If you want to practice in the morning, do it for 5 minutes, scattered throughout the day, but do it. You know, think about these things within your brain or something, still practice. So on the way here, I was doing some of these chromatic workouts in my brain, which is pretty silly to say, but it's just what it is. I don't actually sit down to practice. I'm not like, oh, 7 to 8, I have to do this. And I'm not going to criticize if that's your way to do it. I'm not going to say that my way is better. But I feel like if you integrate it as a part of your life, like you breathe, you're not thinking about breathing between this time to that time. You're doing it anyway, right? You treat it like that, you know. You treat it as something that is just comes and goes. If you don't feel like it, you stop. And the moment you feel like it, you start, you know. There's no set time that you have to sit and do this. So that's how I practice. Yeah, it was nice having you guys here.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
When you are composing, coming up with stuff,
Yeah.
do you just do it whenever you feel like it, or do you set time aside to actually do it? Because sometimes
It's a good question.
you have a deadline and you don't feel like.
Oh, I have, yeah. Deadlines are definitely a thing. The best things I've written have come to me when they have to. But the reality is different, like you said. Not always do we have that liberty to be like, oh, I'm gonna just do this. I'm gonna let it come to me. Maybe it doesn't come to you for a year. What are you gonna do then, right? Well, my thing about that is you need to know how to do it either way. For example, you're so strong in your musical vocabulary and your understanding of music that if you were forced to come up with a composition on the spot, you have the tools to do so, right? Like to make something beautiful when needed is also a skill, you know, that you need to have as a professional musician. But also kind of letting, when something is calling to you, like oh, there's a melody that just came to you, it's stuck in your head and you think this has to be a song, then it just has to be. So that's there's 2 approaches, and in both ways, beautiful music can be made, and I do both those things. I have had to stay up all night for a college assignment and like bang it out, you know, write a big band arrangement, turn it in, you know, for the grades. But because you understand sounds and you're like, it's within you, the sounds that you have listened to and you've what do you call that? You've made a part of your life. There's always ways and tools. There's methodical ways to come up with something beautiful. If that makes sense, you know. If inspiration doesn't strike, there's still tools that will help you come up with something that's good. So yeah, kind of having both. Yeah, that's a good question. That was pretty yeah. Good. I was not gonna think about that a little bit more.
If there's no more questions, I think I'll turn off the Zoom. Yeah. Zoom. All right, thank you so much.
Hopefully it wasn't a drag.